Good evening. September 25th, 2021. It's been a while, hasn't it? Hey, I appreciate all you people that have written me personal messages saying, "Oh, we missed your show, Alan." That stuff's funny as hell. And I'd laugh, but you got to cry because it's true. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about Walton County. So if you're on here for that, I'm going to go over those idiots tomorrow in a complete show. Probably have to do a separate one on the BCC and the sheriff's department and the jail. So I have to have, I guess I owe you guys, for you locals out there, two shows just to catch y'all up on the buffoonery that's happened and is about to happen. So we've got some new information, make things new and interesting out there on the Alan Osborne show. It's National Daughter's Day out there for you people. So if you got a daughter, recognize her today. But I gotta tell y'all something. I gotta laugh at some stuff going on in America. I just wish I could go back to about 1955 or post-World War II and go knock on an average home. I don't care where it is. I mean, just an average median income home somewhere in America. I don't care where. Pick one all over America. One in the inner city, one in the Midwest, one in the South, one in Texas. I don't care. And just, if you could tell those people back in the 50s what we're doing today and some of the things that we have to do, what we need a license for and what we need to prove and what we don't need to prove, they'd be in shock. That's a wild effect tonight. I don't know. Maybe I need some more lighting. Hold on. Well, it is Saturday night. Some of y'all can just pretend you're drinking more. And then my shirt really is changing colors. Some of you people I talk about, that shirt changing colors is probably about how much it blows your mind. I just sit here and tell you the truth about what's really going on, but I do. So we'll get after it some more. So I went to a music festival, and it was up near where I grew up in Hillbilly Town. And you know, music festivals are full of liberals. So if you're a Democrat out there watching my show, I hope it offends you today, because I intend to offend some Democrats and liberals today. So go up to a music festival. It used to be kind of a hillbilly musical festival, but there's always some liberal people there. Melissa Etheridge was there, some other people. Now, I enjoy Melissa Etheridge. I think her music's great. But here's my point. To get into the music festival that you had to pay, you had to produce a vaccine card with your ID. If you didn't have that, you had to take your ID up to a booth and have a COVID test and register with your ID to get into a music concert that you were going to pay for. Now, I had COVID. I hadn't had the vaccine, but that wasn't good enough, even though I said I'd had a heart attack. They wanted me to go up there and present my ID, be tested, and by the way, I believe it was free, but be tested and be registered before I could go in there and sit with the other drunk people and cheer for Melissa Etheridge. Now, that's just about stupid. This is brought to you by the same party that believes that you don't need an ID to vote. I am blown away that we are okay with that. We are worried to death about the flu. We have totally fixated on the flu, and it's scared us all to death. And let me tell you, COVID stomped my hind end. It did. It's the worst flu I'd had since '89. It was bad. And I'm sure it's going to kill a lot of people, and a lot of elderly people, and people with a weak immune systems, and who knows, some people that weren't. But we cannot stop the world. We just can't. We can't totally change the human race over fear. This is not the bubonic plague. It's not a nuclear holocaust. It's the flu. And, you know, and take precautions. And if you're really that scared, stay home. But let me remind you that Hitler convinced most of Germany that the train rides to the camps for the Jewish people were a good thing. You just remember that when you're believing the government, because the government right now has proven itself nationally to be an idiot. We can't trust our own government. And that's the problem. It goes all the way down to the local level, which is why I make fun of it. But it's really not funny. It's really quite frightening that America has come to this. We're so divided that if we don't learn to be, you're either an American or you're not American, we're going to have a problem because we've divided ourselves into so many groups. You know, it's going to take DNA to identify us to make sure we're in the right group at some point. I think we all just need to be Americans. That's really the only thing that's going to work is the Constitution. But while all this is going on in the news, we've all been mesmerized by one missing girl and the search for her lunatic boyfriend. But the liberals and the Democrats want that all over the news. You know, there's some responsibility. I hate that young lady went missing, Gabby. But aren't some of her relatives responsible? Isn't there some personal accountability? If you know your daughter's getting pulled over and she told somebody that she's having domestic issues that require the police to be involved in a cross country, maybe you should have flown her home. Hello? If my daughter tells me that some psycho is beating her on a cross country trip, I'm going to get her or we're flying her home. And I hate that they're looking for him, but maybe he shot himself and save us all the trouble if he did it. You know, if you're out there listening to the Alan Osborne show, please take care of yourself so we don't have to. If you're guilty, well, confess to God and go away. But while this is going on and it's just totally eating the news up, everybody's just let Biden off the hook for Afghanistan. And our southern border, the liberals down there going, oh God, they took horses trying to scare them back. Well, the Democrats and Biden and the hate groups of America have criminalized the average policeman and policewoman, any type of law enforcement in America, so bad that nobody pays attention to them. We don't have a secure border. Think about this. Those people are from Haiti coming in through the Mexican border, which means nobody seems to recognize on the news that they had to pass through several other countries. Why couldn't those other countries take care of them? They just passed them on to us because they know that our president's so weak and our government's so torn apart that we'll just pour millions of people into America through all the broken borders. And we're going to be overwhelmed with these bills. Now you think about it. These people are fleeing countries that they were born in that they couldn't help out. They were part of the broken system. Do you think they're coming here to fix ours? Man, I got some oceanfront property in Iowa I'd like to sell you if you believe this stuff. You are a Democrat if you believe this is good for America. And yes, I understand there's families down there crossing that river, but there's also criminals. And the only difference between a criminal and a political refugee is a criminal has cocaine in his backpack and a refugee has cocaine in his backpack and a kid over his head wading through the water. He's a political refugee and a family in danger of not delivering that fentanyl. So he'll pass the kid off. Some of them have carried the kids back and forth across the river as they go to get more backpacks. Oh, the tragedy of these poor people. They went through 5 countries to break into ours. I mean, they didn't swim from Haiti to Mexico or to Central America and then to Mexico and then to, yeah, they were, boy, people in America better wake up. It's really kind of frightening. We're just losing control of the whole thing. And, you know, all these people are coming to America from places they destroyed. They are not here to help. Yeah, there's a few people coming to America that really deserve to get in here. And we got a system for that. It's called legal immigration, legal. But the fact that they stand there in the news and film people doing illegal acts and condemn the police and law enforcement trying to stop it is bewildering. It really is. It just kind of blows me away. Like I said, you need more proof to attend a concert and get loaded than you do to vote or get into this country. And that's where we stand on the Alan Osborne Show. scratching our heads and hoping we can talk amongst ourselves and take back this country just one county or one area at a time by just calling out bullshit and going, oh, that's bullshit. It's a lie. Joe Biden's a horrible president, and the Democrats are trying to destroy America. Now, I don't know who's right or wrong on every subject. Both parties have their wrongs and rights. But if the laws don't mean anything, and other people suffering are more important than the suffering going on in America, I promise you, we've got people in America we need to spend our money on. And what Joe Biden did in Afghanistan was make sure that for another 20 years, that will be a place that terrorists go to train to come attack us. And we had pretty good control of that at not much of a price to pay after 20 years. But he gave it all up, and we'd basically have to start over. He's ensured that we'll have political unrest throughout the world because that's what Democrats want. They want people to do this because that's how they make money, off the poor and the uneducated. Let the government help you. Listen, the government never, even a great government, doesn't do anything but take from somebody and give it to somebody else. Okay. So they don't make or produce anything. They only take stuff from us. And remember, the Constitution defends us from the government. That's what I'm talking about on the Alan Osborne show. I've missed some of you guys out there, but come on, man. And there's some of this, some political genius. I just don't know what to think. Look, who out there is proud to be a Democrat? Why don't y'all get out of your yard and cheer for Joe Biden? And I saw the other day in some state, a swing state, maybe it was Iowa, his approval rating was 30%. That must mean there's 30% of the blind, deaf, and the dead still existing in Iowa for a poll. Joe Biden is, you got to be ashamed if you voted for him. He's not a leader. He spent 41 years failing us as a public servant. And that's why I'm so hard. If you're not a local and you watch my show just for shits and grins, I do. But if you're not a local and you're watching this, I ride my local government because I can't affect my state government very much except at the voting booth. Now, I'm not influential enough to do that, much less Washington. But if we don't stand up for what's right and just a fair system in our own backyard, hell, America's just kind of doomed. And I'm worried about people that don't realize how good America is and how bad it could go fast. Go read a little history. Go read about a stock market crash. Go read about a dust bowl. America could have some hard times. And let me tell you, everybody was scared after 9/11. You people that were, 3 and 4, and that thing's just something in the movies. Yeah, 9/11 happened. Black Hawk Down happened. Vietnam happened. Iran, Iraq, that happened. The Iran hostage situation happened. World War II, Korea happened. And now Joe Biden is happy and we're not safe. So you tell somebody, get together, be a conservative, be an American. If you want to be part of a group, be part of the group that you're either an American or you're not. If you're not an American, you should want to be one and become one legally. I would. And that's what we're talking about today on the Alan Osborne show. Let's not be stupid in America. And the question of the day, I'll leave you with this, because I'm not a coffee drinker, so I'm going to leave this. Is the desire to drink coffee an indication, future indications of getting Parkinson's? Because I go into places, and I'm a soda drinker, and I notice that nobody spills their soda all up and down the counters or along anywhere in some convenience store or restaurant or go in there. But you bring some freaking coffee drinkers in there and every one of them's got Parkinson's. They spill that shit everywhere like it's normal. I just wanted to take my Dr. Pepper over to the coffee station and sprinkle it about among the sweet and low. And the creamer spilled everywhere and the brown spots and black spots all over the white stuff there at the nice restaurant. Because it wasn't like that around the sodas. I wanted the sodas to be treated equally. I just felt like Dr. Pepper ought to go there and scatter itself all over the coffee station. I don't know. These are things I think about on the Alan Osborne show, and maybe you should too. Till next time, this has been the Alan Osborne show, and we'll expose some other stuff on the next two shows. I'll see you then. Y'all keep them straight out there, you hear?